How's it going, everyone? NazM45 here with some more Star Trek Online. Alright, so, like I said, probably about like a month or so ago now, I'm finally doing that ship review video of the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser, also known as the JJ Prize by some. Boy, it's been a really, really long time since I have done any sort of ship review video. In fact, my last ship review video was over a year ago. This character, Saran, I haven't done a video of his ship in, I think, over 2 years now. So the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser was originally released with the Kelvin lockbox, probably about like 3 months ago now or something. It hasn't yet hit the Infinity lockbox. In the meantime, though, I didn't actually win one of these by lockbox. I actually saved up a lot of EC and actually bought one of these myself since I really wanted these, and it was actually a direct upgrade to the old Heavy Command Cruiser that I used to fly from the Command Cruiser set that Saran used to fly. I wasn't really impressed with that ship, the whole carrier aspect of it, and I wanted something different, and so I fell in love with this ship, honestly. Enough of me talking, though, so this was a ship review. You came to see a ship, so let's get right into it, shall we? That's okay. We're looking at the USS Alpha-Caitian 5. Fifth time I've named a ship like that. Anyway, let's look at the weapons first. First off, we have a full 8 set of Kelvin Timeline phaser emitter arrays. Despite their name, these are actually beam arrays and will be affected by beam-based abilities. I'll be doing a demo of this ship in action a little bit later in the video, so you'll get to see them in action then. I didn't get these from lockboxes. I got them off the exchange, and all of them have different procs, which, whatever, that didn't really matter a whole lot to me. I just really like the Kelvin Timeline phasers because they are freaking cool. Looking over the Deflector and Impulse, Warp, and Shields gear, we first have the Nukara Deflector array. My engine's Deflector and Impulse are ultra rare because of my Temporal Agent bonus. The Nukara Deflector array, it's pretty good. Improves my shield healing and shield capacity a lot. It focuses mainly on my shield, a little bit on my hull hit points, some of my passive hull regeneration, which is, you know, whatever. It affects my control effects and resistance to the same, which is, you know, that's fine. I guess I use gravity well, so whatever. And it also improves my energy and shield drain. I'll talk more about that later. That's actually a really cool bonus. Since this is ultra rare, it got the CtrlX. So when you upgrade to ultra rare, that's the proc you get as a bonus. The impulse engines are the Nukara impulse engines with the turn modifier, which it just means I'm able to turn more. Doesn't honestly do a whole lot. I don't really know what to say about these engines. They're not particularly neat in any way. I mean, it just gives me about 9.5 extra shield power, which is nice, but, you know, other than that, you know, they're pretty normal engines, nothing particularly special. The reason I'm using the 2-part Nukara set is because I get the weapon stabilizer bonus from the 2-part set, which is bonus 2.5 all weapon damage, and this is the part that actually sells it, is the weapon stabilizers, which removes weapons disabled conditions after 3 seconds. This effect is similar to the Iconian set. I don't particularly care for the Iconian set, and I found out I really kind of like the bonuses that I get from the Deflector of the Nukara set more. And so I figured, you know, this provides kind of what I wanted to, with better stats to my health rather than overall DPS. Onto my shields, I have the adapted M.A.C.O Covariant shield array, which is also Mark 14. Because this is part of the, you know, Borg reputation, it automatically gets additional plasma damage resistance by 20%, but now with the AP bonus on it, it also reduces anti-proton damage to my shields as well, which is really just reinforcing the fact that I really, really freaking love these shields. Chance to placate once every 10 seconds for a second, which, you know, can draw some fire. Next we have the Kobali Field Stabilizing Warp Core. The main selling point of this is the Kobali Shield Capacitor here. Kobali Shield Capacitor is by far the best shield heal in the entire game. When activated, grants you 9,365 shield regenerations to yourself and allies, gives you bonus shield power for 20 seconds, also repairs disabled shields. So, like I said, best shield heal in the game, honestly. I absolutely adore this warp core. I use it on pretty much every character I have. We'll move on to devices quickly. We got the Temporal Negotiator. The Temporal Negotiator, when activated, reduces cooldowns for bridge officer abilities by 50% immediately, so, you know, that's a nice little ability to have now and then. The Death Alliance Reinforcement Beacon is, well, that one mission that you fly with Tom Paris, and it calls in ships that shoot stuff. The Red Matter Capacitor, I got this during a live stream event. Geez, that was when Smirk was our community manager, I think, so this thing's really old. But yeah, I got that a long time ago. And of course, the subspace field modulator you get from Skirmish. I rarely see this in use nowadays. I don't honestly know why. It's still an excellent damage resistance buff. Also, you'll notice down here, I also have the Nimbus Pirate Distress Call. Just like the Delta Alliance reinforcements, you can have this in your inventory and it'll still actually work with your ship. The Temporal Negotiator used to do the same thing, but with a recent patch, they changed that. I don't know why. It actually has to be on your ship to work now. Anyway, onto tactical consoles here. We got the Quantum Phase Converter upgrade to Mark 14. Essentially, you get this from the mission Sunrise. It increases your phaser damage, it increases your auxiliary power a little bit, and increases your drain expertise, which improves your energy drain and shield drain and resistance to the same. Really great item to have if you're fighting against Borg. Also, as a side bonus that honestly doesn't really matter because I've never met an enemy that targets my auxiliary systems really, but it also removes disabled power from auxiliary systems after 1 second. Also, we just have 3 separate vulnerability locators based on phasers from my Fleet Spire upgraded to Mark 14, so that gives me bonus critical chance and a whole lot of bonus phaser damage. Moving on to science, the first console we have is the Temporal Disentanglement Suite, upgraded to Mark 14. It gives you a bonus power to auxiliary. It also increases your shield capacity by 22.5%, which is really awesome. And based on your auxiliary power levels, it also improves your critical chance and severity. It also reduces my damage to my shields a little bit. So, you know, overall, it's a pretty universally neat console. Next we have the, oh boy, this is a mouthful, the Console Science Plasma Generating Weapon Signature Nullifier Mark 14 with the shield heal. This is available from your fleet's embassy. Overall, this decreases my threat generation by 71.2% while it's on my ship, and what that means is, you know, if there's 3 enemies around, I'm going to be probably like the last person the enemies are going to be shooting at. Next we have the Starship Shield Restoration, which improves my shield healing, which is nice. I also get a bonus plasma-based exotic damage, which that doesn't matter at all. As a side bonus, this also adds a plasma explosion proc to my energy weapons, which gives me a 2.5% chance of doing an amount of plasma damage that ignores shields whenever I shoot an energy weapon. So essentially it turns all my phasers into phasers plus that little plasma proc that plasma beams have. Next we have the Plasmonic Leech. I got this long time ago, back when it originally came out. Plasmonic Leech, whenever you fire an energy weapon, it steals power from your target subsystems and gives it to your own. I think this can stack, I don't think it says, but if I'm remembered correctly, it can stack up to 6 times, I think. Anyway, the first engineering console we have here is the Universal Assimilated Module, which has been around since dirt in this game. You know, the board console, it increases your critical chance and severity, gives you more weapons power, your hull restoration and control expertise. You know, it's a pretty good stat modifier to have. Next we have a Terrarium D plating from the mission Ragnarok. While I was upgrading this to Mark 14, I got extremely fortunate, and amazingly, it upgraded to Ultra Rare. So there's that. It gives me bonus kinetic and energy damage resistance, which is cool. Similar to, I think, Neutronium Alloy that does the same, but the Terrarium D gives bonus statistics, such as increases my hull capacity and my shield capacity by a bit. It also increases my auxiliary power to my shield bonus power, and also makes me immune to the effects of the Delphic Expanse, which doesn't matter at all because I very much doubt we'll ever play in the Delphic Expanse in future missions, so whatever to that. Anyway, next we have the Regenerative Integrity Field. The Regenerative Integrity Field, aka the Kobali console, was also available on the Samsar, it was a command cruiser, the Samsar Command Cruiser, a couple years ago for the anniversary event. As a base bonus, this automatically improves my hull healing, which as a giant cruiser, that really helps a lot. It is by far the best hull heal ability in the entire game. Whenever I activate this, I'm immediately healed over 17,000 hit points. That can actually vary depending on your ship. After you activate it, you receive 100% of your outgoing energy damage as healing for 20 seconds, which doesn't really matter all that much because it stops at 2,000 hit points. And the last console we have here is the Auxiliary Ejection Assembly, aka the JJ Prize console. So while it's just on my ship, it automatically gives me bonus maximum auxiliary subsystem power and improves my exotic damage, which for my build is actually kind of cool. The ability itself is really weird. So here's what happens when you activate this console. When you activate the auxiliary warp core ejection, you will eject a couple warp cores behind your ship that will travel 2 kilometers behind your current position and then blow up in a 5-kilometer radius, doing a good bit of damage. After that, however, your speed and turn rate are substantially increased for 4 seconds. Essentially, you turn this ship into a Tokyo Drift style ship. It's honestly really funny, and you're completely immune to movement debuffs during that time. So it's like a 2-stage ability. It's honestly rather weird. I don't particularly care for this console, but I paid a lot of freaking EC for this console apparently, so I'm gonna keep it no matter what. That pretty much covers the entirety of my ship build. I've already completed the full Starship mastery with the trait unlock at the end, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. Let's take a look at my skills now. Okay, these are my skills quickly. You feel free to copy them if you want. I honestly don't care. I know, like, some people are like really sensitive about seeing their skills and like, don't see my skills, it's so private. And I'm like, it's a freaking game, dude. It's a game. We learn from each other here. Crying out loud, I've been playing this game for like 5 years and I just learned certain things that I didn't know before. Also, as I was saying before about the Nukara Deflector here and the Plasmonic Leech, this particular thing, the Drain Expertise, did you know the Drain Expertise will directly affect your energy weapon damage to shields? I was not aware of this for 4 years. So yeah, doing that increased my damage like 1,000,000%. I'm exaggerating, it didn't increase my damage by 1,000,000%, but you got my intention of that sentence. Anyway, my primary specialization is my intelligence tree. Got this fully leveled out, nice tree. Second one is the pilot specialization. It's fully leveled out too, but I'm only using the first half of it because it's secondary, which allows me to have the rock and roll ability over here. Once again, immune to all incoming damage. Essentially just puts your ship into a barrel roll, which for this giant ship, it's actually really funny to see. Also, for the intelligence specialization, I forgot to mention, I also have, because it's fully filled out, I have the Intelligence Fleet 2 ability, which is essentially just a slight damage penetration buff for your team. It's not honestly that helpful, especially since most of it just does stuff for cloaking, so who cares? But, you know, 15 shield penetration and armor penetration for 30 seconds, that's fun, you know? Anyway, personal space trait we have here is the Fleet Coordinator. Essentially, it increases my damage by 2% per team member. This includes myself and gives me up to 10 bonus damage during queues, let's say. The next trait I have here is the Conservation of Energy. This is actually a really nice trait, despite what you might think of it when you first get it. Essentially, you gain 10% bonus exotic damage whenever you're struck by energy damage for up to 3 times. The next thing that I have on here is the Photonic Field Protocol. The Photonic Field Protocol is a trait that you got from a lockbox, I think, not long ago. I don't remember. Maybe it was a Vodwar lockbox? I don't honestly remember. Anyway, incoming critical hit, you gain 7,000 temporary hit points for 15 seconds, and this can trigger up every 1 minute. Honestly, it's a nice little butt save ability. Not really a butt save. I mean, there are other abilities in this I would call butt save more, but you know, it's still pretty good. Next we have the Bulkhead Technician. 10% maximum hull hit points, nice. We have the Advanced Rapid Support. The Advanced Rapid Support is the trait you get from fully finishing every mission in the game on your temporal agent. When you have this trait, it reduces your recharge time on career-specific abilities like Tactical Fleet, like my Science Fleet here. I'm not sure if it also, I don't believe it infects Intelligent Fleet, but it affects like Science Fleet and a few other abilities, I think, by 67%, so it changes, I think, a 5-minute timer down to a 2-minute timer, so really nice, honestly, to spam that now. We have Shield Technician, 10% maximum shield capacity, and then we have Pattern Recognition. This was available via the original Zindi lockbox. For every 15 seconds you're in combat, up to 4 stacks, you gain bonus defense and shield hardness, which is nice. You have the beam training here, 5% beam weapon damage, which, well, I'm using beams, so, you know, that's nice. And then we have the Nanite Repair Matrix. This one was actually a mission reward, if I recall. It's somewhere in the Iconian story arc, I think. When my hull drops below 50%, I immediately am healed 10,000 hit points. This can happen every minute and a half. So my Starship traits, I have unlocked all of the 5th slots, by the way, for my reputation and trait slots down here. You can do that if you have a fully leveled research lab from your fleet. But anyway, For my Starship traits, we first have the superior predictive algorithms. When activating a weapon enhancement ability, it removes a debuff. So yeah, it removes debuffs every time I activate a weapon enhancement ability, and it can stack up to 4 times, so that's really nice. Next we have reciprocity. I've never been able to pronounce that. When an enemy misses me, it automatically reduces my recharge time on intelligence and tactical officer abilities by 10%, which means I can spam abilities more often, which is always nice. Next we have the improved critical systems. Once again, this was the Starship trait, I believe, that was available from the Delta recruits a couple years ago now. So every time you use an emergency power ability, like emergency powered weapons, I gain bonus critical chance and critical severity for 15 seconds, which is actually really good when you're spamming stuff. Next we have Desperate Repairs. Desperate Repairs, essentially, each time your Starship is critically hit, you receive a Desperation counter. When you get enough Desperation counters, you get a large amount of shield restoration and a whole lot of hit points. This thing has saved my butt more often than not, by the way. And so the last trait we have here is Down But Not Out. This is actually the trait that came with the JJ prize. So as my ship takes damage, I'm able to root power from damaged subsystems and increase my maximum power levels for my subsystems. So the bonus starts at 80% hull and reaches a maximum potential at 20% hull and gets up to 20 bonus power for all my subsystems. I've been at low health sometimes, and I've noticed that every one of my subsystems is completely maxed out. It's pretty awesome. For my space reputations here, we have the Nanoprobe Field Generator, so when I'm suffering damage, it has a 10% chance to reduce my damage to my shields for 5% for 15 seconds, which can stack up to 5 times, adding up to a total of 25 less damage to my shields, which is pretty nice. Next we have the Enhanced Shield System. It's pretty self-explanatory, just bonus shield capacity. We have the Energy Refrequencer, which allows me to receive 2.5 of my outgoing damage as healing for up to 10 times a second, which is really nice. We got the Advanced Engines, aka better flight speed and turn rate. And then the Auxiliary Power Configuration, it looks like this one has a longer name, but it's being cut. Offense, yes. Essentially, it increases my damage and accuracy based on my auxiliary power levels. And since, with my stats on my ship and stuff and other traits, I've been getting a lot of bonus from that. So, I get a whole, I think, 3.7% extra damage. And I think, if I remember correctly, this adds on top of the base damage and not below. Which, for those of you who understand DPS, that means a lot. Either way, I think this helps a lot. So, for my active reputation, we have the Quantum Singularity Manipulation, aka the half cloak that you get from the Romulans. They're not really willing to share a full cloak with you. It's only a half cloak. So, it cloaks you for like 3 seconds, which is kind of lame. But anyway, you also have the Biomolecular Shield Generator, aka the shield satellite thing that heals you for a lot of shields really quickly. It's really nice. And then the new Anti-Time Entanglement Singularity, aka the giant LSD bubble that hurts. So yeah, essentially, if you catch someone in this bubble that you activate on an enemy, it does a large amount of physical damage to them, which 100% shield penetration every second. The whole bubble itself lasts for 12 seconds, so roughly that comes up to, I think, like about 21,000 damage if they're in the epicenter of it, so that's pretty nice. The radius starts at 4 kilometers and continually shrinks, however. While they're in that, it also chances to hold them, and it reduces their flight speed by a large amount. Also, that it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't affect me in combat at all. I also have Well Traveled. This essentially just reduces my cooldown on transwarp and stuff. So that's how my traits look. Now onto my duty officer. Oh, no, wait, not duty officers. We haven't looked at my stations yet. Right. The Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser comes with a Universal Lieutenant Commander Station, a Tactical Lieutenant Commander Station, a Commander Engineering and Command Station, a Instant Engineering Station, and a Lieutenant Science Temporal Station. For my tactical abilities, I first have Tactical Team, Attack Pattern Beta 1, and a Fire at Will 3. For Science, we have Science Team, Subspace Vortex 2, which, if I recall correctly, was from the Zindi Terrestrial Lockbox. You can get this ability for not cheap, but a lot cheaper than it used to be on the exchange now. It's actually really nice. And Gravity Well. So what the Subspace Vortex does, it essentially creates a vortex where it will do a large amount of kinetic damage through shields to all nearby targets, Also, if you activate the ability a second time while the vortex is still there, you'll immediately teleport to the vortex's location, which I have yet to find a use for. But this ability, coupled with the gravity well, equals deadly sucking vortex. It's a really nice ability combo. For our other science station down here, we have hazard emitters, which is, you know, our favorite cleansing ability. And we have rapid decay. Rapid decay is one of the temporal abilities you can train. This one in particular does a large amount of physical damage every second for 5 seconds, and also decreases an enemy's damage resistance for 5 seconds, which is really nice. If the NPC in question has entropy at all, then all this increases. So for both of our engineerings, we have 2 copies of engineering powered weapons. We have an engineering team, reverse shield polarity, because I'm not able to heal my shields a whole lot when they're really low. We also have the rally point marker, which I don't really care for any command abilities, but I did want one because this is a command ship and I do like unique abilities. So we have the rally point marker 3. Essentially what this is, when you activate it, it gives you a very large hull heal, a very large shield heal, removes all debuffs, and you can't use it again for another 30 seconds after you've used it. It affects any player or ally that goes into it. So it's a nice command ability. Honestly, I think it's one of the only command abilities I really like. Let's see, I think that's everything for the build itself. So yeah, that's pretty much the entirety of the Alpha-Caitian 5. Now that we've taken an in-depth look at everything that makes this girl tick, let's actually go and see her in action. Hooray for pugs! Anyway, we're playing ISA, Infected Space Advance. You know, the classic old proving grounds. Looks like they're already kind of starting without me, so without further ado, hopefully I can actually do some sort of damage before these guys just completely obliterate everything in this mission. So we're gonna activate Subspace Vortex there, the destabilize, what's that called again? The Rapid Decay, that's it. And I can see that I'm not doing the most damage here. It looks like they're getting to everything before I can get to it. Although you can see there from the flanking damage and the regular damage that I am doing quite a bit of substantial damage, and I'm not actually buffed at the moment, so let me go ahead and buff myself a little bit more. And so now you can see I'm actually doing quite a good bit of damage there with my my abilities active. This team, you know, it's feast or famine when you go to a pug in ISA, I swear. It's either you'll find a team that is doing amazing DPS at every turn, or someone who is shooting popsicle sticks out of their beams. It's just, So it looks like someone, who else is flying? It's that Mombosh over there, I think, that's doing a whole lot of damage. But from what little damage I'm able to get in before they blow up everything, you're noticing that I am doing quite a bit of damage, and I'm not doing the best right now. I'm not really staying on top of myself on what abilities I'm using. I'm actually going to pop that right now. Why not? So I did just activate the, what's it called? The anti-time entanglement singularity. You can't really see it right now just because of a lot of stuff that's happening on the screen, I guess. But it was affected there. I saw it debuffed, so go back down a little bit more. This thing needs to die a little bit faster. And there we go. That sphere is going to be dead. Okay, now moving on to the gateway. Oh, there's one more sphere over there. You know what? Since I haven't actually used the ability yet, we're gonna go and use it right now, provided I can get there at any point in the near future. And we're gonna use the auxiliary warp core ejection system. So it's gonna pop up a few warp cores back there. I was wrong. It actually does do 4. Got a rapid decay on there. And so actually, oddly enough, you can actually flank this particular gateway from the front. How that works, I'm not sure, but, you know, whatever. Pop a rally marker there, get me some shield hit points back, and boom. Okay, moving on to the... Oh, wow, they've already taken it down to 35%. Okay. Just help kill this thing a little bit. I can get a couple more about... I was really hoping I would be able to get my ability thing there, but I didn't able to. Okay, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Wow, ow. Okay, there we go. Jeez. That explosion actually hurt a lot more than I thought it was going to. But also, that little swirl right there, that's the subspace vortex. Anyway, that was the ship in action. That was really short. Like, let me check my time here. Yeah, that was like 2 minutes. So let's go find another queue that we can work with this. Okay, here we are playing Crystalline Entity Advanced, CC, or Crystalline Cataclysm Advanced. I liked Crystalline Entity Advanced. No, I don't care to know about my ship review anyway, thank you. Actually, no, that's not true. I'm making a ship review, so that's... I don't really know what I was trying to say there. Anyway, we're just gonna go kill this thing. I honestly expect this to be probably even quicker than the last one was. So we'll just pop quite a few things on there and start firing away. So this is one of my favorite ships to play as when doing this particular queue, just because I'm able to do a lot of AoE damage to everything that spawns around the entity. We're dropping a lot of frames here just because of everything that's happening, and as you can see right now already, this thing's already down to 50% health. It's gonna die before it even has a chance to do its second pulse, probably. We're gonna just back up here, pop that, and activate some warp cores to blow up in its face. It just popped right there. There we go. Activate entanglement. Do that. Might as well pop a vortex too. Help do some damage there. So that's what I really love. Even while this thing is... oh, wow, okay. While this thing is charging, it actually is completely not immune to physical damage, which is nice. So that's one of the things I really like about this ship, is that it's able to do quite a bit of damage purely through physical damage. Help clean up some of these Tholians. So I think that was a pretty good test for our ship here. Kind of a quick test, I'll admit. Didn't get to do a whole lot with them, but you know, más o menos, I guess. Anyway, so for the last part of the ship review, I'm gonna go on inside the JJ prize here, and we'll get to see just what the interior of the ship looks like. It's pretty small, but you know, awesome, just nonetheless, because it's directly from the movie. Also, there's one last guy up here. Okay, he's already 50. Wow. Okay, I'll just throw that on him. I got 65 specialization points from that. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's go inside the ship now. Okay, so here we are inside the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser Bridge. It's the same as the Enterprise that was in the J.J. Abrams movies. You know, not a lot to say. I mean, it's exactly a replica of what was in the movies. Obviously, you know, refit for our characters in STO. But I really like the inside of this. This is one of the biggest things that made me want to get this ship, was the interior itself. I mean, just like, look at this stuff. It's just... the attention to detail. I'm just like, it's beautiful. Also, if you're still watching this video and enduring me up to this point, a question I've actually been wanting to ask a lot of my audience, what they've been thinking, is a long time ago, literally a couple of years ago, I used to do ship reviews, and not ship reviews, ship bridge reviews. And you know, it's been like 3 or 4 years since I've done any kind of ship bridge review, and I do have a couple unique bridges that I have now. So I'm like, do you guys want to see spin-off videos of those things again, or like what? Leave it in the comments below if you want to see those. Because I know if you're still watching up to this point, then you definitely mean business that you want to see those. Also, the lens flares. I'm just like, oh, the amount of lens flares in this, I just love it. Anyway, so we got our small craft selector over there. We got Morley over there, who does absolutely nothing, doesn't do his job. We also have Charlie here, who just likes tapping incessantly at that. I think he's forming an addiction. We have 2 turbo lifts over here, which really doesn't do anything. And what I love about these turbo lifts is that, you know, we are surrounded by light right now, but as you can see, I am not lit up as a character almost at all. I really don't understand that. So this console over here, if I remember correctly, this is the account bank, which is nice. And then over here, we have our contact duty officers, so we can do everything over here that we would normally be able to do on ships that actually have other decks and levels. Actually, I'm gonna go and contact our operations department. I would like to start a production of Hamlet, please. I don't have... Hold on, I need 20... Go do it, thank you. Okay. Always play Hamlet whenever you have the chance. And like this one's even worse. Like you can't even see your character in this triple lift. I don't understand that. But anyway, yeah, this is in the new 2.0 lighting system. Honestly, I think it was a downgrade when they had it from the other one. So, and oddly enough, also with all the different chairs that you'll see around here, you can only sit in the captain's chair. This one's the only one that has like a sit locator on it. If you've used the Foundry at all, you know what I mean. How like certain chairs will not automatically come with a locator, and you have to put a locator on them. Obviously, the devs did not put locators on any of these seats except the captain's chair for some reason. But anyway, that was... I'd like to sit back down, thank you. Anyway, that was the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser, the Alpha-Caitian 5 that I purchased recently. I hope you guys enjoyed this ship review video. I'm not going to make any promises if I'll do other videos like this particular video in the future. I have honestly no idea, and this is the first time I've done one of these videos in 2 years. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.